welcome to the Money and Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith.
And I am Sheryka.
Welcome to the Money and Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith.
And I am Sheryka Alford.
All right, and today we are talking about establishing your why and how to stay motivated.
Yes, how do we do that? So last time we talked about the emotional side of dealing with finances, but even when you start digging in and trying to pay off debt, it's all fine and well in the beginning, but how do you stay motivated to stay on the grind and keep at it?
I don't know.
That's a question. That's a question.
I don't know. Oh wow, yeah. It's just definitely gonna take some mindset work to get in that motivational piece. Because I don't know how you stay motivated when you're bringing home $1,500 a month. You got 5 kids, 5 different baby daddies, and ain't nobody helping make sure these kids got food on the table. Ain't nobody helping putting shoes on their feet. Ain't nobody helping with the haircuts. Ain't nobody helping with the Fenneman products. Ain't nobody helping keep the lights on. I mean, I don't know where you find motivation for that, but hey, we're gonna take it today. We're gonna peel it apart. We're gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, that's a to say that would be a tough situation is an understatement.
Absolutely.
But I mean that's the reality for some. It's unfortunate, but that is the reality. However, during this episode, we're going to share how we stay motivated as we try to reach our goals. And well, for one, I guess that's one part of the motivation is to set goals. And determine our why. I guess we have to decide why. I know for me in the beginning, when I set out to do something, I have to figure out why it is. Why am I doing it? Why is this important to me? And once I establish that, whenever my motivation level gets low due to life happening, then I go back to that why, and that just kind of picks me up a little bit. Also, having a accountability, woo, tongue twist, having an accountability partner helps as well, because I know you are big on connecting and community. I think it's important for us to have someone that we can talk to help us whenever we start kind of losing focus a little bit.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest tricks of the enemy is that he keeps us isolated and comfortable in our being alone, thinking that we're doing it all by ourselves, thinking that no one has this issue but me. Um, I'm a very private, personal person, but on the flip side of that, I'm also very open to community, very open to sharing and listening and and, and providing insight on issues that um, we think we're all alone in this. One of the hardest things that I could ever come up against does not compare to trying to tackle it alone. Being alone, hey, I don't care who you're looking at. I don't care who your um, greatest idol is. I don't care who you're trolling on social media. No one gets where they are going alone. No one reaches success alone. No one comes out of debt alone. We all need to begin to build a community of partners, a community of sisterhood, a community of family, of accountability that we can work on this thing together, because that's what it's all about. Sheryka, your debt looks a little bit different than my debt, but in reality, it's all still debt, correct?
Right, right. It's all still debt. And, for me, and that's another thing with finances, it is, it's personal in that it's individual. So I say that, and what I mean is something that may work for me may not necessarily work the same for you.
Hmm.
And so, whenever we're talking about debt and handling finances here, we're speaking in general terms. And so, based upon what you hear, you take what you hear and then you apply it to your individual situation, apply it in a way that's going to work for you. I'm just curious, do you set goals? Do you write out, how do you work? I know you set goals, but do you like actually write them out? Because some people actually write them out and that helps them. And some people like, no, I just say them in my mind. What method do you use?
Hey, I am the voice for people who suffer in silence. So I use my voice. I come on my lives. I come on my Woman to Woman podcast. I come on wherever you see me. I'm speaking it out live. No, not only that, I'm writing it, but I'm writing it in my book so that I can share it with you too. So it's about being transparent. And if I can't own my stuff, how am I going to expect you, or how am I going to guide you to owning your own? So I believe in giving things a voice.
Right.
I believe in writing it down. Not necessarily, I don't have a journal um, that I write in every day, making step by step plans and goals. But what I do have is I have a budget uh, planner. I have a budget planner that I picked up from the Dollar General store, and in that, in the beginning, it lists all of my debts, and as I create a budget every month, uh, I'm able to go down and look at, even if I just make small steps in eliminating my debt. Those small steps over time add up. I talked about in recreating a better me. I talked about my debt and what that debt looked like. That debt started out at over $70,000 worth of debt. I told you I only make $30,000 a year. So what does that look like? It looks like I will never come out of debt. Well, guess what? That 70,000 eventually looked like 60,000, and now
Right.
that 60,000 now looks like 50,000. And over the course of a year and a half, telling my money where to go instead of just spending on everything I see that I want, making those small simple changes, making sacrifices in so many areas. Hey, I haven't taken a vacation in 2 years, okay?
I
So
was with you the last time you took a
I'm
vacation.
just saying. So when we look at that and making the sacrifices and thinking what's important, putting money where it needs to go, being intentional about our debt. It's not only about writing goals. We can write goals all day long. We must apply the process. We can
Yeah.
read all day long. We can have all these great ideas all day long, but in reality, in order for it to work and have any impact on your life, you must apply the formula.
And so, why? Why is it so important to you?
Hey, look, I have a legacy that I'm trying to create here. I have two girls. They haven't reproduced yet. So I don't have the grandchildren or anything like that, but I'm looking further down the line. It's not only about um, my family, my lineage. It's also about those that are connected. It's also about those other families who are in situations just like me, who feel like since we weren't born with a silver spoon, that there's no hope and that we cannot create legacy. That can be furthest from the truth. So my why is not only for my family and friends and my loved ones and the people that I know, but it's also about you guys that are listening to this podcast right here today. It's about you too, because
Yeah.
your legacy matters. We're
Yeah.
going to leave a legacy one way or another. But how awesome would it be to leave a legacy that uh, whoever falls under your mantle can be proud of?
That's so true. For me, my ultimate goal, the thing that drives me, is because I want to be comfortable and have options. And so, not only that, as I'm working to get to the point to where I'm comfortable and have the options that I want to also share with other, kind of like you, like share with others around me, because I feel like if you know something or you're doing something and it's something that's positive, share. you know, I want to share with everybody. Um, but I will say in the beginning, I kind of had to back off because, you can want something so bad, not only for yourself, but for those around you, the people that you love, but they may not be there yet. And so it could cause a tension, and you don't want that to happen. So I've backed off a bit, but I will say anyone that's around me, anybody that'll give me a listening ear, I'm like, hey, we can do this, we can do better, we can get out of debt, we can invest, we can save, we can teach our kids. Well, yes, we can do it. And then some people may get tired of it, but
Absolutely. But in all things, we have to move in wisdom. And then that's one of the things that uh, we learn through shifting our mindset. We must move in wisdom. Sometimes we can get so excited about a thing working for us that we impose our values or impose what we think onto other people. And that's not what we want to do. We don't want to impose. We want to impress upon you some uh, different perspectives. We want to impress upon you to take a different perspective as it relates to um, your situation. But we don't want to impose at all. We don't want to be that one. So you must operate in wisdom in whatever it is that you do. And that's kind of the uh, drawbacks of being an entrepreneur. We try to impose our products, or we try to impose our services upon other people. They may not necessarily be ready for all that. So
true,
that's one of the things that I had to learn early, is that everybody don't want what I have. Everybody is not going to be drawn to my products. Everybody is not going to be drawn to my services. So, we have to really look at that and move in wisdom.
true, so true. Well, for those of you who are listening who are on path to improve their financial health, I would just say first off, determine your why. Have that foundation as to why you're aiming and striving to do what it is that you're trying to do, because as we've said, for one, not everybody around you, they're not going to be on the same wavelength as you are. So you have to know within yourself why it is you're doing what you're doing. And we've said it before: connection, community, an accountability partner. If you can't find someone in your immediate circle that's trying to do the same thing and help you stay motivated, go to YouTube University, go to podcast, stay tuned to the Money and Mindset podcast. We will be your cheerleaders. We will, hey, cheer you along the way. Yes, you can do it. But just look for someone that's trying to go where you are.
Hey, for you guys that are just joining us today, you are listening to the Money and Mindset podcast with your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, and
Sheryka Alford.
and we're just here laying it out on the table today as we're talking about establishing your why and how to stay motivated. So, hey, it's not easy. It's not easy, because life is going to happen. Life is going to come punch us in the face every now and then. I say that all the time. It's going to
Yes,
come at you.
yes.
So just because you've made a commitment and you're applying steps does not mean that there's not going to be some things that's going to come against you financially that's going to cause you to want to throw in the towel early. So we can't do that. And that's why community and partnerships and accountability partners. That's why all of that is important. Hey, I haven't gotten to the place that I'm at now by myself. I have to
Right.
connect with other professional women who are knocking it out the park. I have to connect with family and loved ones who are knocking it out the park in areas where I'm struggling. Hey, I don't need somebody with the same gifts that I have. I don't need somebody who thinks exactly like I think. I need some different people who have a whole different dynamic of things that they're dealing with and how they approach life. And so
Right.
that's what we need. We don't need to go out seeking people just like us, in the same situation, just like us. We need some different dynamics of people on our team. And so that's what makes the winning team.
Yes, and knowing your why, it doesn't only apply to finances. I mean, that goes for anything that you're setting out to do. Whether if you're setting out to lose weight or gain weight or just improve your overall physical health, whether you're setting out to improve your mental health, whether you're trying to learn a new skill or go back to school, whatever the case may be, establishing your why is going to be that anchor that keeps you focused and motivated to do what it is that you're trying to accomplish. Because yes, like she said, life will punch you in the face. It does. Expect it. Life happens, and the only
No,
thing that you can
no
do.
doubt. Hey, COVID taught us that.
Yes.
COVID taught us all every bit of that. You know, when no one was expecting that, but hey, it's here. And so for those, some have thrown in the towel, and for others, we're on our grind. We're thinking creative. We're out doing what it's doing, guys. But as she was talking, it also brought something to my attention, um, and that is not just accepting where you are right now
Hmm.
and accepting that for what it is. Guys, you guys have gifts, you have talents, you have seeds of greatness that is inside of you. And you have, I also believe that that talent, that gift, that seed of greatness um, is something that you can use to help generate another stream of income for you and your family. So, what is it that you do well? What is it that you will find yourself doing, even if you're not getting paid for it, even if no one pats you on the back, even if you don't have a team? What is it that you can do and excel in and do that even without all those other dynamics in place? That will also help you establish your motivation piece, because
Yeah.
I believe that we're gifted with something that's going to help provide some stream of revenue for our families and to help us generate enough income to help take the steps to getting out of debt.
Right. Yes, and that is vitally important because I'm learning. 2020 has taught me because we here in our household we went from three sources of income down to one. And it's like, hey, we need to get creative. It's time to do something different. So yes, that is so true. And I have you to thank for I'll just say, for lack of better word, I'll say instilling that in me.
Planting the seed, because that's all I did. The gifts and the talents and the things that you guys have been able to accomplish over the months of COVID, it was already in you. All I did was plant a seed, and up until that point, it's up to God to do the watering and to bring the increase. And so I just believe that whatever that is that it looks like for you guys out here that are listening to us, hey, we're human. We're in this pandemic. We're in this situation just like everybody else. We have bills that um, come in every month. We have incomes that have been impacted. But it is what it is. Does not give us an excuse to throw in the towel,
Right.
but it just means that we have to dig deep within us and realize what it is that we can do to generate generate more revenue if that's what it is. Get motivated, get excited. Guys,
Yeah.
if you would have told me when did the impact of COVID really hit us back in March, if you
Yeah,
had
but
have told me any time prior to March that you would see this face or hear this voice live out on media, oh, I would have said lies, 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 because that just wasn't me. I still am. I'm so personal, so private. But guys, people don't know me. And I have a voice. I have a gift. I have things that people need to hear. I I I want to give voice for those things that we've set silence in for so long. And the only way that I can do that, the only way that I can develop and grow, the only way that I impact the situation that I'm dealing with is sharing that gift with you. And that opens up doors of opportunity. It also means that, hey, I'm giving it all and I'm laying it out here on the table. And for that, I'm motivated because I know that when I leave this realm, when I leave this life, when I close this broadcast, I've left it all out here on the table, and that motivates me knowing that what I've done has impacted the life of somebody else.
yes, and that's what it's all about, just pouring into others. That's what it's all about. So as you determine your why, and you meet up with whichever accountability partner that you have, just kind of pour into them as they pour into you, and just know we can accomplish anything.
Okay, so in order to reflect on the nuggets that you have once again given us today, step two.
Know your
Step
why.
two is to begin to create and build your team of accountability partners. Know your why, implement the plan, and let's get moving. Hey, it's the Money and Mindset Podcast. I am your host, Anntricia Bray Smith, and
And
she
I am
is.
Sheryka Alford.
And we'll see you next time right here on the Money and Mindset Podcast.